Hey, this is your girl DreadHeadShawty, and today I'm going to tell you about my rare blood disease. So, back in 2014, October, end of October, beginning of November 2014, I found out I had a rare blood disease. So, um, starting from the beginning, my doctor had put me on birth control. To start regulating my cycle. And while being on that, by the time I got to October, I ended up getting a bad urinary tract infection to the point where I started peeing blood. I started peeing blood. I wasn't eating, and I just wasn't myself. Like, there's times when I would black out and people would tell me what was going on and I wouldn't remember. It's crazy. I had a lot of people telling me I don't look the same. Something looks like, like there's something going on with me. And I'm just like, okay. So we get to, I'm going to say October 31st. And that was a Saturday of that year. I still remember the day. I usually go to church on Saturdays. I'm Seventh-day Adventist. So instead of Sundays, we go on Saturdays. So I didn't go to church. I decided to stay in the house and sleep because I felt like I was getting the flu. Like my body was hurting. Had a headache. I was tired. I just didn't want to do anything. So I stayed home. And my 4-year-old son stayed home with me too. So I'm sorry, this story's hard. I slept all day that day. Didn't eat. Kept peeing blood. It's just running through me. Didn't want to really drink anything. Wasn't feeling good. And my son could tell. So he's just like, I'm not leaving my mom. And my family ended up coming back from church. And they were just like, Alicia, my mom was just like, Alicia, yeah, my name is Alicia. She's just like, Alicia, are you feeling well? And I was like, no, it's still don't feel well. I'm still like tired, weak. So she's just like, I think you should go get checked out at the hospital and just to make sure everything's okay. And I was like, I don't want to go to the hospital. She was just like, you're grown. You don't want to go? Fine. So I went back to sleep. So moving forward, we get to Sunday morning. My son ended up sleeping with my mom. He wanted to be close to his grandma. So I let him go stay with her. And I slept by myself. I walked in the kitchen that morning and went and talked to my mom. And she's just like, do you feel well? I was like, no, I'm still feeling the same. Still feel weak. Still have a headache. I still don't have an appetite. I just want to go back and lay down. Just when you know that I'm up. I go back in my room. I lay down. Lay down and I quickly fall asleep. So some time goes by and I feel a push in my back. And I'm like, is that my son? Turn around. He's not there. My mom's not there. My sister's not in my room. I was just like, who just touched me? And I was just like, okay, whatever. Maybe I was just dreaming. So I go I decided to go back to sleep. Fall asleep again. This time I'm feeling 2 hands on my back. And it's just like, Alicia, wake up. You know, it's just like, okay. There's still nobody in the room with me. So I'm just like, all right. I'm getting up. Go tell my mom I'm gonna go get checked out. Okay? I didn't tell her what happened, but I told her I was gonna go get checked out. Get to the hospital. Nobody's in the waiting room. It's just me. So they took me to the back right away. I told them what was going on. I didn't feel so good, felt weak, wasn't eating, and I was peeing blood. They're just like, oh, that's not good. So they trying to, I gave them a sample. So they saw all the blood. They just like, that's not normal. Exactly. Then they, trying to start an IV and, get blood sample as well. And couldn't. My veins were like basically trying to shut down. It was crazy. So she tried again. She had to stick me twice. And I'm not afraid of needles, so I was watching the whole time. So she stuck me twice and finally worked the second time. And they ended up really putting me on an IV, giving me fluids because I hadn't been eating and they could see the blood in my urine. So I get to my little room they moved me into and they changed my nurse. And this is like, I think I got there like 9 in the morning. So by this time it was like, going on 10:30. That's how long it took them to get everything, settled. And I get in there and I'm just sitting there chilling. My nurse is talking to me. He was cute, by the way. He was cool. And he was like, has this ever happened to you before? And I was like, no. And it was just like, all right, we're just waiting for your results and then we'll go from there. I said, okay. So my sister was just like, when they're done, call me. I'll come get you and drop you back home. I said, all right. I couldn't go home. When your doctor comes back in the room without his assistant, without the nurse, nobody, closes the curtain and puts his hands together and has that kind of depressing voice, something's wrong. And I was just like, come on. He was just like, I got your results and you can't go home. He was just like, if you go home, you'll die. And I was just like, huh? I'll die? Why? He said, you have 6,000 platelets. Now, telling somebody that's not in the medical field, I was just like, okay, what's that supposed to mean? You're supposed to have 400,000 platelets. So for me peeing my blood out like that, I was losing all my blood in my body. So I was dying. And I didn't know. I didn't look like I was dying. I was still walking around. Face was still bright. Skin clear, all that. And I just looked normal. But I wasn't. And he's just like, we need to move you up to like a lower level from ICU. Well, a level lower from ICU. And I was just like, okay. He said, so you need to call your family and let them know that you can't come home. I was just like, oh gosh. So I was just like, all right, so call. Nobody picked up the phone. Call my sister. I was just like, hey, I have to stay here. Like, there's something wrong with my blood, so I can't leave. And she's just like, really? I was like, yes. She's like, all right, I'm gonna let mommy know and we'll be on our way. I said, okay. She's just like, where are you? So I told her where I was in the hospital, so they sent her back there. They sent them back there because they brought my son too. So we're sitting there And I looked up my pants leg and I have these little red dots all over my legs. And I was just like, what is this? So I'm calling, I'm showing my mom, and she's just like, where's your nurse? So they go get my nurse, and he was like, oh, that's petechia. It's where your blood pools under your skin basically, and it has forms like little dots, like they look like pimple, like polka dots kind of, but they're really really tiny. And I had them all over my legs. I was just like, never seen that before. Okay, so they said I needed a blood transfusion. They had started me on steroids, which made me gain mad weight, and I was really blown about that because I was on a weight loss journey at that point. And I was down in the emergency room from 9 in the morning up until about 5 in the evening. I didn't eat nothing, didn't have nothing to drink, nothing. So finally get to my room. They gave me a blood transfusion. They gave me a flu shot. And what was funny is from that little tiny flu shot they gave me, that tiny needle prick, it would not stop bleeding. She had to change my gown because my arm from that little tiny dot came up all up on my gown that I had on. So they had to change my gown and put pressure on my arm to make the blood stop and all that. It was crazy. It's just like that's never happened before. Like they really did not know what was wrong with me that night. So they ended up calling a hematologist. They thought I had like cancer. That was a lot. But like I had all that treatment done and my platelets kind of went up. I went from 6 to about maybe 8 or 10,000 platelets. Still not enough. But they said it was going up. So I was like, all right, bet. Good. I can get up out of here, right? Soon. Yes. That's what I wanted. I wanted to get home to my son. He's not used to being away from me. And I'm not really used to being away from him like that. Just you know, just from the times that he's at school. So, whew. Next day comes, which is now Monday night. My family comes to visit me, help my son with his homework, all in the hospital bed, and I still can't go home. And they do the second round of this stuff, and it's called plasma. No, it was frozen plasma, and they tried that. But little did I know, and know that I was allergic to it. So first bag I had to have 2 bags, 2 doses that night. First bag goes through. By the time that first bag went through, excuse me, I started coughing, couldn't really breathe that well, chest was burning, skin was burning and itching, and I had no idea what was going on. My head was hurting, I was sweating, I was scared out of my mind because I was by myself, and I was just like, Lord, please don't let me die. Like, I felt like I was about to die. Like, it's just crazy. So, they had to give me Benadryl and a sleeping pill, knock my behind out. So, I went to sleep again. Tuesday morning comes. This is when I met my hematologist that I still see to this day. And he was just like, so we ran tests on your blood again this morning, and the treatment we gave you last night did not work, and I heard you had complications. I said, yeah. He said, not only did it not bring your platelet count up, but you now have pneumonia. I was like, what? So not only did I have that problem with my platelets, but I had pneumonia. He then told me I have this blood disease called TTP. TTP is thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura. It's a rare blood disorder. clots form in small blood vessels throughout the body. So the clots stop the oxygen-rich blood from going to like your major organs, your heart, your brain, your kidneys. So your, body starts to shut down. That's why I kept sleeping. He told me if I didn't come in that Sunday, and I stayed home and slept like I wanted to, I probably wouldn't have made it to Tuesday. That scared me. He also told me that they needed to move me to ICU immediately or I would die in the hospital, because what they were doing before wasn't working. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm trying not to cry because this part is like, it scared the mess out of me. Like, I'm smiling right now because I'm really, really trying not to cry. It just scared me. It scared me. I kept thinking about everything, and the face I could only see was my son's face. And them having to tell him that mommy won't be able to really come home for real. Or if I didn't come in and telling him that mommy didn't make it. That's all I can say. Is just like, I won't be able to be there for him if I don't get help. And they moved me to ICU, and I still didn't look sick. I was able to walk in ICU, and they just like cracking jokes and just like, oh, she doesn't look sick. But the funny thing is, I was the sickest person in that unit. So they had to put a central line in my groin, and I also had my regular IV. They had to clean my body from head to toe because I can't fight off infection because my count was low. They put me to sleep. I woke up hooked up to this really loud machine that was cleaning my blood like a dialysis patient, but it was called plasmapheresis. So every day from that day that I moved to ICU to probably that Friday, I had about 12 to 13 bags of frozen plasma every day. That's a lot. On top of that, I had blood transfusions to help clear my lungs out. I had to take 100 milligrams of steroids, which made me eat like a horse. I couldn't see my son. They wouldn't let me see my son in ICU. That was the hardest part. But I think by Friday or that Saturday, the nurses, they all waited until the doctors left, and they said that my family could come. So they picked my son up. I ran him down to the door and I waved at him, and I missed him so much because I saw the look on his face. I cried every night in the hospital because I missed him. I just wanted to be home and I couldn't go. But my church, they found out that I was sick. Both of my pastors came to see me. People from church came to see me. my friends from high school that I hadn't seen in forever, they found out I was sick because I posted on Facebook. That was like my only entertainment when I wasn't being, poked or checked or talked to. And they're bringing me food because hospital food is nasty. And I think by that Sunday I was able to go home. But Monday evening comes around and I can't breathe properly. I ended up right back in the hospital, and I had to be on a respiratory unit because it just, they had to check my heart, they had to check my kidneys, my lungs, all over again. Because I was on the steroids, it kept skyrocketing my blood pressure. So I had to take blood pressure medication at I'm 29 now. I had to take that, and I was like, 26? I think it was like 26. Sorry, I was 26. I just turned 26 when this happened. And, sorry, y'all. I stayed there for another week. And then I finally came home. But it still wasn't over because people hugging me, just tapping me on my back hurt. I was always cold. I would have random times where my body would just hurt so bad. By January, I got a really, really, really bad cold. I had to go back to the hospital because I couldn't fight it. I couldn't fight it at all. I can't take certain medications because it will trigger my disease. I can't be on birth control anymore because my doctor feels like that's what caused it. There's a lot of stuff I can't do anymore. So now, from then and now, I've had, 9, 10, maybe 11 iron infusions because my body does not hold iron anymore. I'm severely anemic. I have an iron deficiency, basically. What else? My platelets, they are fine. Thank you, Lord. They are fine. I've just been through a lot. Now, I can't go to the doctor or the hospital and let my son know. I have to kind of tell him I'm going to the store and I'll be right back just to go get checked out because he's scared that mommy won't come back home. And maybe I'll let you guys meet him one day. I'll do a challenge video with him but he's a sweetheart. He's full of energy, and I just want to get back to the point where I'm still able to run around with him and be there for him and listen to his crazy ideas and watch him build stuff and play in the dirt and all that kind of stuff. I just want to be here. I don't want to get sick again because if it comes back, I'll have to have Rituxan, which is a form of chemotherapy. I don't want that. And if all of that stuff fails, I'll have to have my spleen taken out. And your spleen helps you fight infection, I think. Don't quote me on that. I have to look that up. But I think your spleen is supposed to help you fight infection. So if my spleen isn't working, they have to take that out, which would probably help everything regulate again. But then I really have to be monitored more than I am now. Because right now, it's like, it's supposed to see my hematologist like every 3 months. It's supposed to go to every 6 months, but because of my iron, it's still every 3 months. This is basically going to be with me for life. It changed my life. I've thought about going the vegan route. I'm not sure yet. I want to try meal prepping. I want to try not to be sad in 2018. Like, I've gotten this far, you know. God still has me here for a reason. Not only just for my son, but there's something that I'm still here for. And I'm going to use 2018 to figure that out. I'm not doing that whole new year, new me. Nah. I'm just going with the flow, trying not to be happy, trying to do more things that make me happy, do a lot more activities with my son, and probably become a YouTuber. Hey. Yeah, this is DreadHeadShawty, also known as Alicia, and thank you for listening to me. Peace.